How's it going, everyone, and welcome to a brand new trade deadline edition episode of Thinking Blue. I am your host, Blake Harris. Now, I haven't posted an episode in the last few days. Kind of wanted to wait for all the trade deadline news, all the different rumors. I wanted everything to kind of pass along, and I would make an episode pretty much talking about everything the Dodgers did at the deadline. Well, it is currently 2 p.m. The trade deadline passed an hour ago, so I'm pretty sure that all the moves that have come out, those are it. I don't think there's going to be anything else that comes out. I think this is the final straw. I think this is everything we're going to see. So with that being said, it's time to talk about what exactly it is the Dodgers did. So really quickly, if you haven't already, make sure to follow me on Twitter at Blake Harris TBLA. I post a lot of great Dodgers content, so if you're a Dodgers fan, definitely a must follow for you. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure you turn on those notifications. That way you don't miss another episode moving forward. Alright, well, I guess the biggest news that comes out of the trade deadline, well, first off, I mean, aside from the Zack Greinke news, this was an absolutely dud. I guess this was a dud of a trade deadline, nothing too major. The Greinke news came out at the very end. Some other smaller notable moves, but for the most part, a very uneventful trade deadline. And the biggest piece of news coming into today was whether or not the Dodgers were going to try to acquire Felipe Vazquez from the Pittsburgh Pirates, and it looks like the answer is no. So now we don't know yet how advanced the talks were between the two teams. We know it came out where the Pirates were still asking for Dustin May, they were asking for Keibert Ruiz, they were asking for Gavin Lux, they were asking for at least two of those guys. The Dodgers stood their ground. Not sure if the Dodgers made any counteroffers, not sure if the Pirates, completely kept their stance the entire time, but Felipe Vazquez is still a Pittsburgh Pirate. The Dodgers currently have all of their top prospects right now, so I'm going to talk about that move really quickly. I've been aboard the Felipe Vazquez hype train for the last month or so when we've seen the Dodgers kind of starting to get involved with his name. I thought the Pirates were asking for way too much for Felipe Vazquez. I thought asking for Gavin Lux was a huge stretch, and I thought asking for both Keibert Ruiz and Dustin May was another stretch as well. I would have been fine if the Dodgers would have included Keibert Ruiz and then maybe someone else like a Jeter Downs, maybe like a Josiah Gray, something along those lines, but I think the Pirates were asking for too much. And ultimately, the Dodgers held their ground. They really value their prospects. They thought that the Pirates were asking for too much, and we'll have to wait and see. I mean, as of right now, I'm very happy the Dodgers currently have all these guys, but Felipe Vazquez, like the best reliever out there on the market, the Dodgers didn't get it done, so I don't know, I'm not entirely sure how exactly I feel on it. I guess we're going to have to wait and see. Because I tweeted this about an hour ago, that this is not the kind of decision that we're going to have an answer to until the end of October when the World Series is over, where if the Dodgers, win the World Series, their bullpen is fine, then Andrew Friedman looks like an absolute genius for not making the trade. However, if the Dodgers lose in the World Series because of the bullpen, or not even, let's say, make the World Series because of their bullpen, Andrew Friedman is going to be under a lot of fire for not pulling the trigger. So Felipe Vazquez, he's not a Dodger, and we're going to have to wait and see over the next few months to see whether or not it was the right call. Now, just because Felipe Vazquez isn't a Dodger does not mean that the Dodgers didn't go out and acquire some bullpen help, because they did, and a name that nobody saw coming, left-handed pitcher Adam Kolarek from the Tampa Bay Rays. I think I'm saying it right. Is it Kolarek? Not entirely sure. Hopefully I'm saying his name right. The Dodgers get him for essentially nothing. They trade single-A minor league prospect Nico Hulsizer, who's hitting .265 this year in the minors, has 20 home runs, a good power hitter, only 22 years old, but definitely not going to be seeing the field anytime soon with the Dodgers, so just a minor league prospect for that. Adam Kolarek from the Tampa Bay Rays, 30 years old, 4-3 with a 3.95 ERA this season, has a whip of 1.22, 36 strikeouts in 43 and a third innings. So right away, he's not a strikeout pitcher like, Felipe Vazquez was, or some of these other names that the Dodgers were attached to. He's not a strikeout pitcher. However, over the last 15 games, he's had a pretty good stretch, has a 2.4 ERA, has held opponents to only a 1.54 average. Now, the thing I like about Adam Kolarek is the fact that he is a lefty specialist. For his career, lefties are hitting only 209 against him. This season, lefties are hitting only 187 against him. So my guess would be that the Dodgers use him for mainly facing left-handed hitters. Maybe they'll throw some righties in there, but you look at Adam Kolarek overall, very respectable numbers, very solid numbers, been a pretty average, decent relief pitcher over the course of his career. I like this move. I mean, if you're not getting Felipe Vazquez, they obviously lost out on Shane Green. There weren't really that many options still available because a lot of relief pitchers were kind of coming and going all of a sudden over the course of the last hour. So the Dodgers really had to, just sit down and figure out who's truly available and what can we make happen. And I think Adam Kolarek is a very good pickup. The Dodgers desperately needed a left-handed relief pitcher because we don't know when Scott Alexander's coming back. Caleb Ferguson has been shaky. Who knows if he's going to be there come October. So it was imperative that the Dodgers go out, acquire a left-handed relief pitcher. I mean, of course, Dodgers fans are going to be all over Andrew Friedman because this isn't Felipe Vazquez, this isn't Will Smith from the San Francisco Giants, but looking at it as a whole, I really like the move. It's a very nice pickup, and who knows? I mean, maybe Kolarek can continue this stretch that he's on because having an ERA of 2.4 over the course of 15 games, that's very respectable. That's very solid, and especially the fact that he's holding opponents to such a low batting average, as I mentioned, 154. I think he'll be great against lefties, and, we're going to have to see what he is moving forward. I don't think he's necessarily going to be that 8th inning guy. He might not even be the 7th inning guy, but if you need 1 or 2 outs against left-handed pitchers, I think, Kolarek might be our best guy moving forward. Now, it looks like that's the only piece of bullpen help that the Dodgers went out and acquired today. Now, however, the other day, the Dodgers did go out and they did sign Tyler Thornburg, who was recently with the Boston Red Sox this season. I believe he was optioned to AAA just the other day, so he's going to start there. Maybe we'll see him sometime in the coming weeks, but it's been a struggle this year for Tyler Thornburg. 7.71 ERA in 16 games. It's a whip of 1.6. However, though, he was really good back in 2016 with the Milwaukee Brewers. Appeared in 67 games, ERA of 2.15, had a whip of 0.94, strikeout per 9 of 12.1, and he has some of the best spin movement in all of baseball. So if the Dodgers can kind of, work with him a bit, if Rick Honeycutt can kind of figure some things out with him, I think this could be another sneaky pickup where it might kind of be like a Dylan Floro of last year or Brandon Morrow, where one of those moves that they make where it's not a huge, big name type move, but they can figure those things out and do well with the Dodgers. So another name to keep an eye on, Tyler Thornburg. Now moving on to another piece of Dodgers trade deadline news, and that's the fact that they went out and they acquired infielder Jedd Gyorko from the St. Louis Cardinals. Now in the deal, the Dodgers sent Tony Cingrani and minor leaguer Jeffrey Abreu, and the Dodgers got back Gyorko, and also some international cap space and money considerations. So we always like getting those cash considerations. Now when this news initially broke, Dodgers Twitter was just losing their mind because everyone's thinking, Jedd Gyorko, why are the Dodgers going out and acquiring a bat when they should be acquiring a pitcher? Now, Jedd Gyorko, he's by no means the player that he used to be. He's currently on the 60-day IL with lower back strain. Not entirely sure when he's going to be back, but overall, I really like the move for the Dodgers. Jedd Gyorko is not a guy that's going to be, starting in the lineup come September and October. He's a guy that the Dodgers are acquiring specifically for depth. This is if something like David Freese goes down, if Kike goes down, if Chris Taylor goes down, if someone goes down, late September, early October, and the Dodgers need to turn someone, Jedd Gyorko is going to be a guy that you can pick up off the bench who, has played extremely well as of late. I mean, back in 2017, so just 2 seasons ago, he played in 125 games, had an OPS of over 800, had 30 home runs. And, the home runs, they haven't been there the last 2 years, but he's hit 20 or more 3 times in his career. Another thing I really like about Jedd Gyorko is the fact that he's really good against left-handed pitching. Back in 2017, when he was having his career, he had a 917 OPS against lefties, and actually last season, he had a 919 OPS against lefties as well. So if Jedd Gyorko can get healthy, if he can kind of, just fix whatever was going on at the plate this year, he can be a really, really good option either in the starting lineup or off the bench against left-handed hitters. And as I mentioned, he has the home run power as well. So anytime you can get a guy off the bench that has the ability to hit a home run, that's a bonus as well. So I know a lot of Dodger fans were shocked about this move, but I think it's specifically for depth. And this could be a guy where come October, he might be, he might turn into like that David Freese type. I don't think he's going to be playing to the extent that David Freese was or currently is, but I think he's the kind of guy, he can give the Dodgers some quality at-bats, and plus, he has postseason experience as well. So this is definitely a move I think was smart on the Dodgers. They trade away Tony Cingrani, who's out for the rest of the season. It's a drag that the Tony Cingrani situation never worked out. He was always just too injured, too hurt with the Dodgers. And in the move, they also trade Abreu, who's only 19 years old. He's currently on the Arizona League Dodgers moted team, so a very, very low tier prospect, so not much there. So I think this is only a win-win situation for the Dodgers, just to see if Jedd Gyorko can get healthy, because if Jedd Gyorko, as I mentioned, can return to that 2017 form, this can quietly be one of the better pickups from the trade deadline. So Jedd Gyorko, now a Dodger, again, not entirely sure when we're going to see him play with us, but, just give him a few weeks, give him a month if he needs it, and then we'll see what he can do come September and October. And the final piece of news that has come out so far, the Dodgers didn't really get anyone back in these deals, but it's the fact that Brock Stewart was claimed off waivers by the Toronto Blue Jays, and Rocky Gale was traded to the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, I'm sure Dodger fans remember Brock Stewart, who, throughout his Dodgers career, I don't know how many games he appeared in, maybe like 5 or 6, had an ERA of, I think, like double digits. I mean, Brock Stewart, he just never was able to figure his things out when he was with the big league team. He started the season on the 25-man roster, but then he was sent back down to Oklahoma City after about a week or so, and he has just continued to struggle this season in Oklahoma City. I mean, he's appeared in 17 games. I think he started all of them, and he's 5-7, has an ERA of 7.34. I mean, he's allowed 62 runs in 76 innings, has a whip of just under 2. So Brock Stewart, I guess he's going to be a new experiment with the Toronto Blue Jays, and, best of luck to him. Brock Stewart, I bid thee farewell. Best of luck to you. Hopefully you can get that ERA under 7 this year and figure your things out in Toronto. And the other move is the fact that the Dodgers traded Rocky Gale to the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, I believe a week ago the Dodgers, they DFA'd Rocky Gale. I don't think he was with Oklahoma City anymore. He might have actually been with Tulsa, I believe, because the Dodgers had 3 catchers in their in their Oklahoma City farm system. So I think Rocky Gale was actually demoted to Double-A. He's 31 years old. He appeared in only 5 games with the Dodgers this season. Spent most of 2019 in the minors. Hit only .246, OPS of .650, 2 homers, drove in 14 runs. So Rocky Gale probably towards the back 9 of his career, moves to Tampa Bay, and the Dodgers get good old cash considerations. So yeah, it looks like the Dodgers are officially done making deals. It looks like those were the moves of the day, and it was a very uneventful, very quiet trade deadline. They pick up Adam Kolarek, they pick up Jedd Gyorko, they lose 2 of their guys, and I don't really know if Dodgers fans are happy with today's trade deadline. I don't know if they're upset about today's trade deadline. They kept all of their prospects. They didn't go after the big name guys, and I think the Dodgers are still, National League favorites. However, I think the Astros got significantly better. I think the Braves made some really solid additions with Shane Green and Mark Melancon. So we're going to have to wait and see. But I think the Dodgers, as of right now, are still the National League favorites. So I'm not too concerned about their bullpen moving forward. I think Kolarek could be a good deal. And like I said, I think the asking price for Vazquez was too much. So I overall was expecting the Dodgers to make some, I guess, a bigger splash, should you say. But me personally, if you ask me, I'm perfectly fine with this trade deadline. I thought the addressed getting a left-handed reliever. I thought the pickup of Jedd Gyorko was good for some needed depth. So if you ask me, I think I give the Dodgers like a B or a B+ in regards to this trade deadline. But I was speaking to Dodgers fans about a minute ago. Now I took to Twitter about 30 minutes ago before I started recording this, and I said I'm going to be recording a podcast right now. If you guys have any questions about the trade deadline or any thoughts, leave them below so I can get to them, and we have a bunch to go through. I'm not going to hit all of them, but I'm going to go over some of these questions and pretty much talk about them right now. With none of the top prospects traded, any possibility we see Lux or May or any other prospects come September? I think we're going to see all these guys come September. I think we're going to see Gavin Lux. I think we're going to see Dustin May. I think we probably are going to see Keibert Ruiz as well. So now it's going to be a fun September because now all these top Dodger prospects are going to be on display. They're going to be on show, and they're pretty much going to be trying to show what exactly they can do, and we're going to be able to see whether or not the Dodgers made the right move or not. So come September, I feel like we're going to see all these prospects. Who is the only viable option to be the 4th starter in a 7-game series? Has to be Urias, right? Now, I kind of talked about this in another episode. In regards to a 4th starter come a 7-game series, I thought the Dodgers should have gone out and acquired a starting pitcher so they could have pushed some of these guys back to their bullpen. But if we're going with a number 4 starter, I think if he's healthy, it'll be Rich Hill. I'm not entirely sure, 1, when he'll be back, number 2, if he'll fully be ready by then. So my number 1 guess would have to be Rich Hill. My second option would have to be Julio Urias, just for the main purpose. I feel like the Dodgers would trust him more over Ross Stripling. I think Kenta Maeda going to the bullpen is 100%. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think they're going to use him for the bullpen come the postseason. So if it's not Rich Hill, my guess would be Julio Urias. Are the Dodgers still the World Series favorites as of right now? As I just mentioned, I have them as the National League favorites still, but after the Astros went out and they acquired Zach Greinke, and they also picked up Aaron Sanchez from the Blue Jays as well. Those are two really good starters that they pick up. That's, I think, the best starting rotation now in all of baseball. I think it just beats the Dodgers out by just a tad. I am going to have to give the Astros the edge as of right now, but I got the Dodgers in as number 2. Do you think the Dodgers should call up Lux and May to see what they have? If they're not going to trade them now, might as well see if they can be able to help in October. I don't think they're going to call them up now. I think they're going to wait until September when the rosters expand. But I wouldn't be shocked if Gavin Lux, for example, makes the 25-man roster come October. I think his situation is going to be a little more tough unless there's an injury to Chris Taylor or Kiki Hernandez or David Freese, just because they only have so many bench spots. Dustin May, I could potentially see him if things go completely great. I can see him potentially being a bullpen guy come October. I could see the same with Tony Gonsolin as well. But again, it comes down to how many roster spots are going to be available. Injuries happen, so we'll have to wait and see. But I definitely can see either one of those guys being with the team come October. Will we all look like idiots if all the rookies play like gods in the playoffs? I mean, there will be some people that look like idiots for the most part, but I think we're all going to be fine. I mean, no one's expecting any of these rookies to really make a huge impact come October. Like I said, it's only going to be if some injuries occur or if some of these guys just completely tear things up in the month of September. But I think for the most part, everyone knows how good these Dodgers prospects are, especially, Gavin Lux, Dustin May, Keibert Ruiz. So if they, perform well in September and earn spots on the October roster, I think we're all going to be fine. I mean, we all pretty much assumed that. We all knew that, they'd help out in some way. But wouldn't that be something if it turns out that the guys they would have traded for Felipe Vazquez end up being those difference makers come October? Like, let's say Gavin Lux and Dustin May are completely lights out and Dustin May actually turns into one of our dominant relievers. Wouldn't that be something? If anything, that makes the Pirates look more like idiots in that situation. But yeah, that's all the questions that I'm going to answer right now. A lot of them are kind of similar. A lot of them have some words in them that I cannot say on this podcast, but I appreciate everyone for submitting those questions. As I mentioned, if you haven't already, make sure to go follow me on Twitter at Blake Harris TBLA. But that does wrap up this, emergency post-trade deadline episode. Leave a comment down below giving a grade as to how you would rank the Dodgers and how they did for this trade deadline. As I mentioned, I think I gave them like a B or a B+, something like that. So leave a comment below. Make sure you subscribe and turn on those notifications so you don't miss any future Dodgers episodes moving forward. I already plugged my Twitter, so make sure you guys do that as well. I do have a contest going on where I'm going to be giving away some bobbleheads, so make sure you go over there, follow me, and check out all the rules and how you can win those. But yeah, thank you so much for listening, guys. This has been Blake Harris, and I will see you guys in my next episode.